word that whispers in the wilderness, a light that illuminates the valley, a truth that triumphs in the storm, a book bound in faithfulness and inked in love. There's a word that speaks from above, that transcends every theory and philosophy of man, a word that will stand forever, from beginning to eternity, from antiquity into destiny, a word so sweet like honey on the tongue of our souls, and our souls know that this word is beyond words. Language cannot encompass its power, more perfect than life, more permanent than death. It's the very breath of God, the sword of His Spirit, a two-way mirror revealing the innermost intentions of our hearts, invading vein and ventricle. His word is inscrutable, indelible, inerrant, infallible. It will not wither, it cannot fade, it never fails, and it won't change with the times or the tides of history. There's a word that speaks of prayer and praise and prophecy, of covenant and community, of joy and grief and in between, and nothing is beyond its reach. Heaven and earth will one day cease, but there will forever be a word that speaks.
We appreciate you and we thank you. Listen, John chapter 14, going right into the word today. Going right into the word today. John chapter 14, I'm ready to preach this right here. John 14, one verse number 6. And this is what it says. Jesus saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. See if I can say that one more time. Jesus saith unto him, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. I'm going to tag this text with the topic this morning, the only way to God. The only way. Everybody type only. Type that. Type the only way to God. Some years ago, there was a subdivision, a big city opened up outside of a major city, kind of like where we are doing our missional work on Wednesdays in Forney, fast-growing area. And you all take a look at Forney. It's one of the fastest-growing cities in the country. But outside of a major city, there was a subdivision of houses that was opening up. And one of the things that the subdivision was advertising was multiple entrances. And one of the things that people were gravitating toward was the fact that the subdivision had multiple entrances. And these multiple entrances would give them easy access. But as they were moving into the subdivision, the residents were they were there, boy. I mean, they were moving in from all over the place, and as they moved in, they quickly discovered that though there was a very wide and newly paved road, this one road ended abruptly in a cul-de-sac. Watch this, y'all. The subdivision advertised that it had multiple entrances for ease of access. But as the residents moved in, this wide, newly paved entranceway, many of them discovered that this particular entrance had no exit. It ended in a cul-de-sac, and if you know, a cul-de-sac is, a cul-de-sac. And not only did it end in a cul-de-sac, but it was overlooking a ravine. So when we look at this, uh, being a new subdivision, GPS systems still direct the traffic that way, and travelers were trusting the technology, and they followed it faithfully until they wound up at a dead end. Yeah. I said the GPS, they were trusting the technology. It continued to direct people going that way. They trusted it, and then they discovered they wound up at a dead end. Y'all, that's how our world is today. Um, Culture claims, um, especially today on social media and everywhere else, it seems like people are claiming that there are many ways to God. You know, whether it be through intellect or morality or meditation or sincerity or generosity or kindness. People think that there are many ways to God, like that subdivision. People were attracted to it and they were going with the technology. They were going with the latest thing and they were trusting it faithfully, not realizing that the technology had not been updated. Led them to a dead end. That's the way it is today, y'all. Y'all stay with me. I'm going to make my case real fast and I'm going to have you out of here. Let me see my time. All right. I'm going to make my case and get you out of here in good fashion. But that's how the world is today. Culture, our society, the world itself. It seems like people think that there are ways to God. But Jesus says here, he says, I am the way. Yeah. And the ways that we're watching people think that they can get to God is by studying and by being able to read up on the latest theosophy or to meditate in Zen and all of these types of things. But all those roads, though they're paved, I wish I had somebody, and they got some good intentions. The problem is those roads end like in that subdivision in a spiritual cul-de-sac. Only one road, y'all. Y'all type one. Type one. Only one road, only one route, and only one Redeemer reaches the Father's house. I feel like I'm going to preach it. I'm telling you right now. When we look at this, it's important to understand that the one road, the one route, and the one Redeemer is Jesus Christ. Don't care what you think, don't care how you feel, don't care what you've been listening to, don't care who you've been following. And I'm going to run the roll here. I made some notes. I can't wait to get to this part. But I'm going to run the roll and show y'all all these different roads that seem to be paved, but they ending the spiritual cul-de-sac. We're living in an age where truth has become tribal. In other words, um, if your group believes this, then that's the truth. I'm probably still going to do it. I started to, but I'm going to at some point post on social media. Watch this, y'all. This is going to make some of y'all itch. Does my black card get pulled from me if I'm not a Democrat? And would I be an Uncle Tom if I was a Republican? Now, I'm not saying either one. As a matter of fact, I'm a registered independent. Let me go ahead and tell you all that right now. I'm saying this to make a point. But if I don't vote Democrat, am I not black? Or if I vote Republican, am I Uncle Tom? Now remember, let's get it very clear, y'all. I am a registered independent. Yes, sir. Proud registered independent. Been one for a long time. Here's the point I'm making. We're living in this time where truth has become tribal. And if the think tank of people think this way, then that's the truth. And also, because truth has become tribal, the same thing has created, watch this, y'all, a world where faith has become flexible. Wish I had somebody catch this here because the law of relativity, especially in our post-academic, post-secondary academic experiences, the law of relativity has taken center stage over the law of absolution. Nobody wants anything to be absolute because absolution kills subjectivity. And as long as we have subjectivity, we can continue to create a goalpost that we move at any time when the kick is not what we want. I'm preaching already today. I need you to understand here, we have so many varying dynamics within the scope of today's religious rightful. I came up with that term. It's called religious rightful. These religious rightful that there's so many dynamics within the scope of these religious rightful that it's become a maniacal mosaic of menacing messages that literally toss people into a wind of every sort of doctrine and belief, causing them to gravitate to anything that scratches their itch. Mm-hmm. If I had on social media a while back, um, Larry Crudup. My man he was preaching. He was talking about you got a YouTube pastor, you got a Facebook pastor, you got an Instagram pastor, you got a TikTok pastor, you got a pastor that you follow, you got a pastor that you sow into. He said, "Man, you got all these different pastors. No wonder you don't know what you're doing. You're eating from every table, listening to everything and everybody. No wonder you don't know what's taking place. In a world where we always talk about your truth or let me express my truth, here is the thing, y'all. I had this conversation with some preachers the other day. I'm concerned when people always talk about speak your truth or let me speak my truth. Let me tell you what the problem with that is. The problem with you speaking your truth and me speaking my truth has got everybody questioning what is the truth. Somebody hit me with a preach, McNeil. I'm already doing it. I need you to understand. Because our society claps for polytheism in practice. Now, monotheism, one God. Polytheism, many gods. We've been talking about that in Bible study as well. Make sure you join us Tuesday night for Bible study. But we live in this polytheistic society even today. We talked about it a few weeks ago when Paul was in Athens and he saw all of the various shrines to the various gods, and therefore it was important for us to help our listeners understand that that was not something that was abnormal because the society in that time especially believed in polytheism, a god for this and a god for that. And we live in a polytheistic society even right now where we got people that confess Christ on Sunday. We got people who consult crystals on Monday. We got people who check horoscopes on Tuesday. We got people who burn sage on Wednesday. We got people who doing yoga on Thursday. We got people checking the dates on Friday to see if it's the 13th. And we got other people supporting a shield on Saturday. And I'm not talking about the shield of faith. Spirit of today suggests that Jesus is a way, not the way. But today, I want to tell you that he's the only way. I don't want anybody getting confused. I don't want anybody being misconstrued, misperceived, or misdirected. Jesus is the only way. Type Jesus. Type his name. Type Jesus. Yeshua. Jesus. He is the only way. And let me say this. If Jesus was just a way, then he's also in the way. Because what he does is he blocks the path of all these other philosophies that pretend to lead to God, but they can't deliver. Preach, McNeil, here I come. I told you all the subdivision had many entrances, and on this widely paved road, and the GPS that everybody was trusting, and the technology that they were trusting that had not been updated, everybody would have to find out for themselves that although they went very happily down this widely paved road in this new subdivision, it led to a dead end. I'm saying to you all today, if Jesus is just a way and not the way, then he's also in the way. Because every path of countless philosophies that we've seen, from religious practices and religious organizations, every path that pretends to lead to God cannot deliver. Can I push this right quick? Can I press my case? Y'all just hit me with a press. Just tell me to press it. Press. Yeah, let me press this. Muhammad can't get you to him. Confucius can't get you to him. Siddhartha Gautama Buddha can't get you to him. All of the consciousness of Hare Krishna can't get you to him. Can I press, please? Joseph Smith can't get you to him. Mary Eddy Baker, the founder of Christian Scientists, can't get you to him. Zoroaster of Zoroastrianism cannot get you to him. Brigham Young can't get you to him. L. Ron Hubbard, Mr. Scientology himself, can't get you to him. Charles Hayes Russell and all of his Jehovah's Witnesses can't get you to him. Can I press? Bob Smith, with all of your 12 steps in your program, can't get you to him. Y'all, even the Pope can't get you to the Father. And for the new schoolers out here, let me help y'all with this, my black Hebrew Israelite brethren and sisterin. Wentworth Arthur Matthew can't get you to him. Now, here is the news flash as I was running the roll of all of these who can't get you to the Father. Check this out, y'all. News flash coming. It's about to hit you like it hit me. You can't even get you to him. No matter how chaste you are, no matter how clean you are, no matter how generous you are, no matter how kind you are, or any other attribute that one might think of as a bypass, sidestep, or other means of getting to God may be, not even you can get you to him. There is only one way to the Father. Let's unpack this right quick. I'm getting out of here. John 14:6 was not some exclusionary insult, as though Jesus was trying to insult people and exclude them. It wasn't an exclusionary insult. Jesus is making an essential invitation. He says, man, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. He wasn't restricting access to God. He was saying, I'm the only reliable route. Run the road that I just gave you and check to see if they can deliver like Jesus has. Because in a world obsessed with race and nationalities and gender and political parties and all these social divisions, Peter reminds us in 2 Peter chapter number 2, First Peter chapter number 2, verse number 9, and you all have heard me mention this many times. The only ethnicity that matters is the hagios ethnos. That's the only ethnicity that matters. That's the only ethnicity of necessity when it comes to eternity. That's what I was trying to say. That's the only ethnicity of necessity when it comes to eternity. Are you of the holy nation? Listen to what Peter says. If you're not redeemed by Christ, it means nothing. Peter said this, but you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, his own special people, that you may proclaim the praises of him who have called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. If you black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Japanese, Korean, I don't even know what all the Asians are. Those of you that are listening over there, you all know what I'm talking about. I don't care if you're English, Wales, I don't care if you're German, French. None of those nationalities mean anything. So while you're up here trying to figure out whose side God is on based upon the melanin in your skin or the hue of your skin, listen, none of it matters, because the only ethnicity of necessity when it comes to eternity is called being holy. Let me press John 14:6. Y'all look at it with me. Let's just take what Jesus said. I'm just going to use the three things that Jesus said. He says, I am the way, I'm the truth, I'm the life. Those three things indicate for us what he concluded with by saying, no man can get to the Father but by me. Let's look at it. Jesus says, I am the way. Wait a minute. He says, I am the way. Let's see what he didn't say. He didn't say, I'll show you a way. See, every other religion shows you a way. I'm going to get to that in just a minute. Jesus didn't say, I'll point you the way. He didn't even say, I'll lead you the way. Jesus says, I am the way. Now, today, there are many who say there are many roads that lead to heaven. I've even heard, Lord have mercy, I've even heard gospel artists, I've heard some preachers say, I'm not convinced that Jesus is the only way to God. I couldn't believe it. To me, it wasn't just heresy, it was blasphemy. I'm talking about, I'm a believer and I stand on business on my belief. Now, I'm not trying to figure out if he has long permed hair or woolly hair, nappy hair. I'm not trying to figure out what the color of his skin was. It means nothing to me. The only thing that means to me significantly when it comes to color is crimson. You know why? Because that crimson blood that flowed out of Emmanuel's vein, that's the one that I plunged beneath that flood to lose all my guilt and stain. So I suggest that there are many roads. So, number one, if we look at John 14:6, part A, the pathway of divine exclusivity is Jesus. The pathway of divine exclusivity, that means nobody else, is Jesus. Now, the world may say that there are many roads to heaven, but I'm going to tell you right now, Scripture says there's only one bridge over sin's gulf. Don't miss the shout. Every religion begins, if you could run the roll on what I shared with you earlier. But every religion, and anybody that has studied religion, or if you've even dabbed off into religious studies, one of the things that intrigued me about studying religions is that every religion begins with man searching for God. It gets me every time. And sometimes I believe that the simplicity of just accepting and receiving what God has done and what the Lord has said escapes us. Listen to me, please. Because if you study religion and if you've dabbed off into any religious studies, all of them always begin with man searching for God. But if I went to Genesis 3 and just looked at a couple of verses, namely 8 and 9, all other religions begin with man searching for God. But those of us who have come to know the Lord and who have come into relationship with God through the full, finished, and complete believing work of Jesus Christ, all of us understand that it does not begin with man searching for God. What put us on the pathway back to God was actually God searching for man. Preach back, Neil. I'm trying to tell you right now. It was when Adam and Eve sinned, the great separator of sin itself, that broke the fellowship and disrupted the relationship between creator and creature. It was after they sinned that Genesis chapter 3, verses 8 and 9, and I will simply paraphrase it in the interest of time, but this is what took place. They took off running, and the text says that the voice of the Lord came walking in the garden in the cool of the day. Preach, McNeil. And here it is. God came looking for man because man needed to be redeemed back as a result of his own recklessness. I don't know about y'all, but I'm glad that I serve a God that was looking for me. Even when I wasn't looking for him, I was a sinner sinking deep in sin, far from the peaceful shore, very deeply stained within, seeking to rise no more. But the master of the sea, he heard my declaring cry, and from the waters he lifted me. How safe am I? He came looking for me. But every other religion has man searching for. Jesus is the only way. Yeah. The cross is not some symbol of exclusion. It's not a symbol that says stay away, or it's not a symbol that segregates. It's not a symbol of exclusion. Y'all, it's a signpost that points to the only open door to eternal life. The pathway of divine exclusivity belongs to Jesus. Now, if I'm going to argue this properly, I can't just tell you that the pathway of divine exclusivity belongs to Jesus without giving you proof of divine authenticity. Look at it. John 14. He says, I am the way. Watch this. The second thing he says, this is the proof of divine authenticity. He says, I'm the truth. Just reading that blows me away. Because truth today is treated like a personal or social preference. It's what I choose to believe. That's remember that my truth, your truth thing. It's treated like some kind of what my preference is. But can I tell y'all something? Jesus ain't interested in a popularity poll. He is the absolute truth. And can I tell you what I know about the truth? The truth don't care if you like it or not. It's not changing. Jesus says, I'm the truth. Lord, I'm out of time is what I'm doing. Hurry up. Jesus is not interested in a popularity poll. He's not. I shared, I think it was with the class, discipleship class. I think it was, when we talking about the existence of God. And I was saying, y'all, God saying, man, I ain't got to prove nothing to you. Look around. See the sun. Feel the wind. See the rain. Listen to the dog. Listen to the bird. Watch the fish. Wish I had somebody. Check the grass out. See the flowers? Look at the trees. I don't have anything to prove to anybody, because he that comes to God must first believe that he is. And so therefore, if you just refuse to believe, there's no conversation I have for you. But the proof of authenticity, of divine authenticity, is the fact that he says, I am the truth. Let me tell you something. Philosophy seeks reason. Science seeks evidence. Religion seeks ritual. But Jesus says, I'm the whole revelation. Bishop Noel Jones, dear friend of mine, mentor of mine, I remember him saying one time, it was something like this. Truth is not discovered. Truth is disclosed. Truth is not invented. It's incarnated. Here's the thing I know. Your truth, my truth, their truth, whatever. Every competing truth, quote unquote, eventually contradicts itself. But Jesus' truth stands unshakable. Not just today, but forevermore. So we have to understand here, the pathway of divine exclusivity is Jesus. The proof of his divine authenticity is Jesus. He's the truth. I'm the way. I'm the truth. Let me hurry up. It is, he says, and the life. So we have pathway of divine exclusivity. We have the proof of divine authenticity. Third thing is we have promise of divine eternity. Look what he says. And the life. Y'all, he doesn't give life in duration. He gives, watch this. He doesn't give life in existential duration. He gives life in eternal dimension. Abundant, eternal, unbreakable. He doesn't merely open the door. He doesn't open the door to the Father's house. He literally says, I'm escorting you. Yeah. Don't you remember John 14? Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house, many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, that where I am, you may be also. Listen, the promise of divine eternity is in Jesus. Tell me where you're going to find that at. You ain't going to find it in Mary, Eddie Baker. You're not going to find it in L. Ron Hubbard. You're not going to find it in Wentworth. You're not going to find it in Brigham Young. You're not going to find it in Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You're not going to find it in any of those. Jesus says, I'm not here to open the door. I'm here to escort you to the Father's house. To reject him, I'm done. Real simple, y'all. I'm not trying to be some theological, theosophical erudite. Reject him is spiritual death. Receive him gives you an eternal connection. I don't care how good my insurance is. I would much rather have a blessed assurance. So I'm done. Real simple. If I look at this text, closing statement. If Jesus is the way, don't wonder. W-A-N-D-E-R. Don't wonder. If he's the truth, don't waver. He's the truth. That's it. If he's the life, watch this, y'all. Don't waste another moment living without him.